The homestanding Parkersburg Big Reds recorded a game into the win column as they improved their record to 6-14. They will face the 10-11 Warren Warriors, and the Warren Warriors are actually an equivalent to a AA team in the state of West Virginia. But despite the fact, Warren is still very confident in their ability to compete with the heavy hitters in the Big Red lineup. From the Bennett Stump Field in Parkersburg, West Virginia, it's time for high school baseball. Hi everybody, I'm Josh Hughes.
And I'm Lori Ullman-Wright, and lining up right now on the field, we have subs for Warren Warriors. Number 14, Danny Pinnell. Number 5, Ian Zoller. Number 12, Austin Richards. Number 2, Landon Kern. Number 24, Tyler Ward. Number 33, Austin Henthorn. Number 23, Riley Boso. Number 36, the designated hitter, Gunnar Smith. Number 18, Ethan Estes. Number 4, Zach McKenna. Number 27, Garrett Kennedy. Number 32, Lance Schaefer. And number 34, Jeff Freeman. And for Parkersburg High School, number 11, Jake Gold. Number 12, Austin Alator. Number 13, Anthony Kist.
Number 22, Jacob Patterson.
And number 22, Jacob Patterson.
Number 25, Drew Bland.
Number 25, Drew Bland. These are the subs.
Number 26, Caleb Thrash.
Number 26, Caleb Thrash.
Number 32, Kyle Foster.
Number 32, Kyle Foster. And then here we go, Josh, with the starting lineup.
All right, the starting lineup, number 34, Garrett Riley.
Number 18, shortstop.
Number 18, Tony Brunicardi at shortstop.
Number 8, outfielder, Kyle Haggerty.
Number 8, Kyle Haggerty.
Number 35, designated hitter, Mason Humphrey.
Mason Humphrey.
Number 35, he's the DH for our pitcher. Number 30, Max Sheffron.
Paul
Fichtelman
is on first.
Number 29, third baseman, Will Solomon.
Third baseman, Will Solomons. Number 29.
Number 33, outfielder, Damon Ribeiro.
Damon Ribeiro. Number 33.
Number 4, second baseman, Trey Jackson.
Number 4, Trey Jackson.
And number 16, catcher, Chase Evans.
And Chase Evans at catcher.
And he is number 16 for the Big Reds. Okay, Josh, we had an opportunity to talk to the coaches, particularly Warren coach. And what was your impression? How do you think he felt about tonight's game?
I mean, he was very laid back. He was very confident. He's obviously a believer in momentum and really getting his team ready. And he just seems like an experienced type of coach.
One of the things that I found most striking after speaking with Coach Burns was that this is a rivalry, but not really for the players anymore. It's more of a rivalry between the coaches. They all know each other. They've coached together for a long time. They like to give each other a hard time on and off the field about it. And it's that. Unlike what it was several years ago, when the rivalry was much bigger. Obviously, the rivalry in football is still somewhat there, but as Coach Burns said, something about these guys doing camps together, knowing each other, social networking, they kind of know where everybody's coming from now, so they're a little more laid back about the whole process.
Oh, definitely, and that could play a pivotal role in the game as these players do know each other, and this could really help a certain player get into another player's head or really psych one of the players out.
Trey Jackson, as we were having the discussion with Coach Burns, he's like, no, man, we all know each other. It's no biggie. We got this. So I hope that confidence kind of plays through tonight.
I mean, you really get that kind of exhibition type feel, but it's really getting close to sectional time, and it's really crunch time now. And here, these players are just here to have a good time and also to win. And this win would be a pivotal one for either ball club.
these last few games as Coach Burns makes his final adjustments to this team before sectionals. It's all of the records are obviously thrown out when we get to sectional time, and it is about playing their game and knowing where these guys are going to be when they need them, if they're in the right spot. So all of this has kind of been practice for the big game.
Oh, definitely, and with a record of 6-14, as you did say and as he did say, that goes out the window. And he said, everyone starts over at 0-0. You've got to avoid losing 2 games, or else you're out. And really, this is a start of a pivotal push.
Absolutely. Coach Burns would also like to see that momentum continue from the win last night. Kind of be a nice way to end the week. And here we go, Josh. Lead off is number 2. Playing catcher for the Warriors is Landon Kern. Last minute talk with the infield. And we are ready to get this game underway. So one of the things as well is they have split this series so far. Each team in this 3-series game has won 1 apiece. So the winner of tonight's game will have bragging rights for a year.
Talk about a rubber match. This is very, very key in really reflecting on the success of your season. And here we go, pitch number 1. Swung on and fouled back.
Pitch count 0-1. And that was actually the second pitch, Josh.
Well, that means the count is evened up to 1-1.
And a short hop just past the shortstop. And they're going to hold him to first.
Well, it seems like a loss now, but Tyler Ward now coming up to bat. It seems like a loss now for the Big Reds, but the double play is in order. And there's still time to get it together, but they have to get it together in a hurry.
Ward is the center fielder for the Warriors.
And ball 1 just outside of the plate.
He's really trying to work the corners there. Not real successful on that particular option.
Oh, definitely. Sometimes you pitch around the batter, and that time it really didn't work. Here we go, pitch number 2 of the at-bat. Popped up into right field, and it goes foul.
Pitch count 1-1.
And now here's the time where we're really going to see a battle, a duel, if you may, between the batter and the pitcher. I mean, if you're not able to lay off that second pitch, I mean, you might want to stay alive in the at-bat by fouling a few more off. And let's see what he does here.
He's got 1 more before he's really in the position to have to protect the plate.
And the bunt goes foul. Now 1-2.
And now we are in a position where he really has to watch that pitch coming in. Really needs to get a piece of it. He's got to protect if he doesn't want to be that first out.
And that can be so deflating for a player to be the first out of a ball game even. You really don't want that start for one of your players. And that is a ball.
And that's going to even the count at 2-2.
So now we're seeing the pitcher be a little finicky, be a little picky with the pitch selection, just really trying to retire the batter with that third strike. Runner goes, and this
Nice catch there
be a catch.
by the
And
third baseman, and a double play as he fires it across. Nice job.
that is why you've always got to be careful whenever you want to tag up and go for second, but not leave the bag before the ball's caught. So that will be a double play.
Up to bat now is the first baseman, number 33, Austin Henthorn. really wide to the outside there on that one. Pitch count is 1-0.
For a pitcher, you really want him to be dialed up and into the zone, literally into the strike zone. And right now it doesn't seem to be happening for him, as that one is fouled back. Now count evens out at 1-1.
Henthorn returns to the batter's box. Really likes the pitch selection by the catcher. Still wide and outside.
And I mean, maybe it has something to do with the signal that the catcher is giving. I mean, not really a lot happening here for the pitcher, as the count is now 2-1.
And again, he makes the nod, likes that selection.
This one will be chopped in the infield, and the throw seems to be made, and that is the end of the top half.
And so we come to out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no runners left on base.
Really a good inning to start off the game for the Parkersburg Big Reds. As really this season we've seen them get behind, whether it be in the opening stages or whether it be in the end of the game. Really just a good vibe.
Nice defense.
Oh, definitely. That third out was key.
One of the things that we start with fundamentals in Little League is defense wins games, boys.
And the interesting things, a lot of these players went to the same camps as you said before, and really they have the same fundamentals. So, I mean, this should play out to be a good game, and so far it has.
As we head into the bottom of the first, we're going to expect Garrett Ray, who is a center fielder for the Big Reds, to be our first batter.
And really it is key, if you are to get that first groundbreaking hit, you would rather be in the bottom or in the top of the first to really set the tempo for your ball club.
In the first Parkersburg High, Parkersburg South game, Riley was able to get 2 hits and score once in that game that we saw here at Bennett Stump Field on April the 19th. So let's see what he does against the Warren pitcher, Lance Schaefer.
And so yes, we've seen him be reliable and come through in the past, and it should really be a good at bat versus Schaefer. And here he comes.
Leading off for the Big Reds,
On the mound for the
34
Big Reds
outfielder, Garrett Riley.
was Max Scheffron. And let's see how Schaefer compares.
Really some pitch control issues. Really the key for the Big Reds defensively was getting the Warren players into a hole.
Well, Schaefer seems to have had some of those same pitch issues in warm-up.
Swung on and missed. Down the middle, strike 1.
And a nice shot into the gap.
And this will be a single. No, he's
going to go
for
for
the
2.
And a stand-up double to lead off the inning.
Nicely done. And now we will have senior Tony Brunicardi, second at bat, shortstop for the Big Reds. Brunicardi, another reliable player for the Big Reds.
He really is, and he can come through in those tight squeezes and really has some room to work with here, as the leadoff hitter was able to get a double.
And again, Brunicardi was able to secure 1 double and a single the last time we saw him here at the stump.
So he knows this ballpark well.
Low and outside on that first pitch to Brunicardi. Brings up 1-0.
0-1 rather.
No, 1-0. Ball one. And that's a nice shot. Almost caught him. Nice play by the center fielder.
And I'm sorry I doubted you. I just looked over and it was 1-0. So I really should
Number 8 outfielder
succumb to the
Kyle Haverty.
knowledge of my partner.
Considering I'm your teacher, yes, you should. And foul ball from Kyle Haverty.
You still have room to work here as you are the batting team. The double play is not in order unless for some incident. And that
Oh,
will hit him square on the back. And we've got runners on first and second. And wow, that is not the way you start out a ball game. You already put a man on second.
35, Mason Humphrey.
and we will see.
If
What-
Humphrey can deliver it home.
And Humphrey is the designated hitter for Chevron.
And a chopper. Warren will try to turn two, but they will not, as now there are runners on the corners. And now two away in the bottom of the first.
Now batting for the Big Reds. Number 15, first baseman.
And
Paul
now
Fichtelman.
Paul Fichtelman up to bat.
No,
First baseman for the Big Reds.
no score thus far. But with the leading run 90 feet away, we will see what happens. First pitch is a strike.
Getting his signals from Burns. Schaefer, more of a traditional pitcher. Had been.
And there's so much of a player's intuition to know what to do in these spots. The right kinds of signals, the right kinds of pitches rather. And that is chopped back to Schaefer, and that will retire the top part of the lineup.
And again, no runs, 2 hits so far in this game. At the end of the first, the score remains your Warren Warriors 0 and your Parkersburg Big Reds 0.
And so, I mean, maybe some foreshadowing, but it looks like it will be a defensive battle as both teams really have not had to work with the outfield, with the exception of a couple hits. And I mean, maybe that will be the weakness of both teams, the outfield, as we have seen them work the infield rather well.
Center fielder Tyler Ward of the Warriors, nice catch on Brunicardi's hit.
Oh, definitely. I cannot stress how much agility and skill it takes to even be a high school baseball player. This is a big talent, and even though both of these teams have losing records at this point in the season, they seem to be on top of things in the first, and maybe that will break up in the next inning, or the third, or the fourth even. It's just really a sign of things to come if you can have really good defense from both teams and really good teamwork.
And now the designated hitter for the Warren Warriors, number 36, Gunnar Smith. What a great name. What a great radio name. What a great baseball name, Gunnar.
Get her on in there, Gunner. You want a single right down the left field line. And Gunner receives the first pitch and is chopped to the shortstop, and he is retired as is thrown to the first baseman for out number 1. And Gunner did not deliver there, and he will gun it right on back to the clubhouse.
Nice pun there, Josh. As number 18, the shortstop for the Warriors, Ethan Estes, comes up to bat. We need sound effects with you, Josh. A little rim shot occasionally. Nice out. Unassisted play by the first baseman for out number 2 on that little hopper.
And really also, it's the ball being there, the right place in the right time, and just really responsible by the first baseman not to fool around with the ball and to just retire the batter.
At this point, a lot of these young men are looking to play ball in college, looking for those opportunities for potential scholarships. They're going to take their time and do it right, even in an exhibition, because you never know who could see them play, who's sitting in the stands, who's watching the television, as that is ball one way outside, trying to work the corner, and he got it on that pitch. Nice job by Chevron for strike 1, as Zach McKenna stood there looking in his first at bat of this game.
Still no strikeouts as that one is fouled. 1 and 2. So let's see if he can get the first strikeout of the contest.
And he's getting his signals. Umpire's going to check the ball, trade the balls out here. No, he's still looking at him. Again, the pitch count remains 1 and 2.
Quite a night for baseball. I mean, this is very serene.
And again, trying to work the corner of the plate, doesn't get it. So that will even up our pitch count at 2.
And that's what happens when you become too confident in your pitches. I mean, there's something wrong with that until the...
And again, trying to work that curve, it looked like that'll bring up a full count now, Josh.
And the first full count of the ball game for either pitcher. See how Chevron works this.
And again, way to protect the plate. McKenna does a nice job there as he fouls it. Keeps him alive right here at bat.
And I mean, that's great instinct by the batter. And if you're the pitcher, you cannot lay off. You cannot try to work the corner because there's too much of a risk of throwing a ball. And that will be a high called ball 4 and our first walked batter of the ball game. Still with 2 down.
Now batting number 27, third baseman.
And up now is third baseman Garrett Kennedy, number 27 for the Warriors.
And Kennedy now has something to work with as the go-ahead run is leading off of first.
They were able to get the double play last time. He's going.
And he got it.
Second baseman able to knock it down, but unable to hang on to it. And so that will be the first error of this ball game.
And so now that really limits your options. Whether you would have gone to first or second base with the out. They're 2 away in this inning. And Parkersburg High School, as we've seen thus far, has gone out of jams. So there really have not been any.
Well, it's certainly not a force out from second. And Chevron a little wild on that pitch as he goes way outside. That's going to bring a trip from Coach Burns to have a conversation. And Kennedy as well is going to take that opportunity to converse with his coach.
Really out of his element, and I don't know if you can see, but Coach Burns is really demonstrating how he should throw that ball and really get back into his rhythm.
Yes, it looked like he was talking about he didn't like the way he was maybe coming off the rubber, something there that he felt was throwing his form off a little bit. Maybe trying something new, different pitch. Burns certainly didn't like it. Just a nice little correction, and that's all he needed to get it right across the plate.
And really, that is great intuition by the coach to really, if I can say so, get the player's head on right. And that will keep the count with 2 strikes. And this is chopped to the shortstop. And that is the end of the inning. Second baseman, rather.
And so that brings out bottom of 2. And leading off for the Big Reds will be number 29, Will Salmons. And again, the last time we were able to see him at bat, he was walked both times, but previous to that, in Ripley, Salmons was able to had 3 nice hits. One to the fence, could have gone over, but didn't. Ripley had some nice defense on that play and held him to a single. Sort of surprised me then. We'll see what he is able to do as he steps into the box and faces Schaefer for the 3rd time, possibly the 3rd time this season.
Really, he is the definition of power hitter from the way you described him. I mean, I have not had a chance to call any Parkersburg High School games, and
no, Josh, you haven't had the best luck at getting out to the park so far. Every game that you were set to call has been rained out, so we're just kind of watching the skies. But we've got 1 inning under our belts. Let's see what we can do with this.
Well, just living the dream.
Next 5.
But
well, that's what happens when I save you for the big games.
Now Salmons is coming up. And he does seem like the kind of power hitter that you would like to avoid and perhaps pitch around, as you don't want to walk him if you don't have to.
No, because he's fast on the base paths as well. That will be ball number 1, Josh. Nice grounder.
A grounder that dribbles past the shortstop and the first baseman, and a leadoff single. And we saw this happen in the last inning as there was a double by Ray.
Absolutely. And Damon Ribeiro, the right fielder for the Big Reds, stepping into the batter's box.
He's very big, very imposing in that box, and we'll see how that plays out. And he will lay down a bunt, and the sacrifice bunt works. Oh, he is safe.
First baseman dropped it, and so on that
will be counted as an error.
Absolutely.
Now to the plate for the Big Reds, number 4, second baseman, Trey Jackson.
And now Trey Jackson, second baseman for the Big Reds, is coming into the batter's box.
So that's very, very disappointing. I mean, for lack of a better word, disappointing for Warren. And
Absolutely.
The catcher-pitcher meeting.
First baseman isn't looking so good right at the moment. Knows that was certainly an error on his part. Should have been an easy toss and a catch there. That's Little League fundamentals right there. Just didn't squeeze that ball enough.
Oh, and you know as well as I do, the first baseman will get an earful as soon as he goes back to the clubhouse.
Possibly. And now the coach coming out to talk to the infield. Interesting. He may not have to wait until he gets into the dugout. Or he may just be saying something completely inspirational. Shake it off. Let's go, guys. You know how to play your game. Let's play the defense you know how to play. And let's have some fun.
Oh, definitely. That is excellent ad-libbing, as only Lori Almenreich can do.
Oh, thanks, Josh. Oh, and again, another attempt at a bunt as it fouls off into the backstop.
And really, that bunt could either backfire, as Warren could have turned a double play, or, I mean, it could have worked. I mean, really, your options are open.
High and outside. Pitch count is even at 1-1.
It looked like he tried to lay off it and bunted again. I'm not quite sure.
Interesting strategy that Coach Burns has going on here. And again, high.
And both base runners were leading off of their bases.
Getting ready for the pitch.
So they wanted to book it right out and see if they could advance.
And a classic textbook bunt, and a little confusion as to who's going to get that ball. Allows them to get to first, and suddenly, Josh, we have bases loaded on 2 bunts.
Wow.
Unbelievable,
Really,
as Stephen Doherty used to say.
Really great announcer, and I mean, now this is quite a precarious situation.
Right here, you've got catcher Chase Evans coming into the batter's box for his first at-bat. You've got bases loaded, but hey, Josh, no pressure here to convert. Ooh.
And he took a hack at that, but it will be 0-1. And you know as well as I do, there will be no bunt here.
Probably not. Interesting batting stance Evans has every time I've watched him bat.
Oh, definitely squats down there to put more power into the bat.
But he doesn't stop moving his bat. I'm not sure how that works for him, but he has certainly been a hitter before.
And he takes a whiff at it again, and it will be 1-2. And really, if you're PHS, you cannot afford to strand 3 men.
But we have no outs so far this inning, so this wouldn't be awful, except that Evans, of course, doesn't want to let that go. This now becomes the personal pressure as he protects. Pop up high.
Looks like.
And the second baseman able to get it as he goes back unassisted for the first out.
And no sac fly there, so that was a very, very good piece of fielding, and that was really the first time we've seen either team do something in the outfield.
Second time for Warren, actually, Josh. In the first inning, center fielder had that nice catch on the pop-up from Tony Brunicardi.
Now back to the top of the order, number 34, outfielder.
And number 34, Garrett Riley, will be stepping up to the plate.
Riley now up for his second time. First pitch will be outside and low, ball 1.
A little hopper there, the shortstop. Nice play on second.
And that will get away.
Huge error on the throw to first, and that will bring 2 in.
And wow, now we have seen what is that, third error of the inning. The first was on the first baseman, second one was on the catcher, and now on that wild throw. And it is now 2-0 Parkersburg High School. And sometimes you cannot get lucky having an example of the fundamentals, but sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. And now Brunicardi is back up, as he said last time he popped up to record an out.
Outside, tried to work the corners of the plate, didn't work, as that's ball 1.
Now after that error, only 1 man on, and he will
He's going.
steal without even a throw. by the catcher. He must have thought he was already defeated, and he did not want to maximize the damage. At times, you've just got to let that one go. Might be a smart decision, as things have already gone south for Warren.
They haven't gone completely south. Pitch count is now 3-0. 2 runs this inning, an RBI by Garrett Riley, and then the score from Ribeiro on that error. And the second time in this ball game, first time for Schaefer, that he is going to walk
Now to the plate for the Big Reds, number 8,
a player.
outfielder, Kyle Haverty.
And so the Big Reds in a position again where you've got runners at first and second. 2 outs in this inning. This is, again, Josh, no pressure.
Really, none at all. And now, Parkersburg might be looking to shoot one in the gap, or maybe just have another lucky error for the Warriors.
Well, Schaefer right now, pitchers seem to be getting away from him. He's having a hard time controlling. He's looking at where his runners are. And that was a nice pitch, as that brings up strike 1. Pitch count now 1-1.
And if ever there was a time to deliver, it is now, as it really should be always. But now the damage has already been done, and that will be ball 2 on the dirt.
2-1. Schaefer needs to take a breath, take a moment. Started to go inside, brings up ball 3.
It's great vision by the batter, and now, I mean, it might be time for a mound visit, even though we're only in the bottom of the second. I mean, it's never too soon for a mound visit when your pitcher is struggling.
Now when he can get him like that, and we're now in a full count situation. And they're going to call that a strike, and he strikes out looking unusual for Kyle Haverty. So that brings up third out. We have 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors, and 2 left on base. You don't want to see that left on base, as Parkersburg High School now leading the Warren Warriors 2-0 at the top of the third. And Josh, coming up for his first at bat will be pitcher Lance Schaefer.
That is a very interesting strategy, as you're already down 2-0 on the road. And I mean, I guess sometimes you've got to let that pitcher get some experience and get some ABs in. I mean, maybe he's going to try to lay down a bunt, as Parkersburg High did, or legitimately go for a base hit. This should be interesting. He has had his struggles pitching, or I mean, it's hardly even his fault when there were 3 errors in the inning, none of which were issued to him. And now Schaefer coming up for his first at bat of the game. First pitch is going to be swung on and chopped foul down the left field line. Puts the count at 0-1. And really, if you're a pitcher facing a pitcher, you've really got to guarantee strikes, and that was one. Ooh, it will be a high ball, as that evens out the count of 1-1, and you've really got to ensure strikes And he clocks
Awesome.
one at the fence, and he will go for 2, and he will make it.
Nice
Stand-up double.
shot. And so Schaefer
Batting for the Warriors, number 34, Jake Freeman.
as Jeff Freeman comes up for the Warriors. Right fielder.
So it's not very often that a pitcher is able to get a double at any point in the ball game, but leading off and getting a double, that is very impressive.
First strike as he fouls that one. Chevron looking. Oh,
And that
way
was
inside.
tight inside as the batter had to do a little skip to my loo to get out of the way.
Half an inch more would have hit him. Pitch count is 1-1. Right down the middle, pop up.
And that
Nice
will be
out.
recorded by the catcher. So now
Nice play
2
by
away.
Evans. That would be the first away, Joshua.
Now batting for Warren, the top of the order.
I am just having a difficulty with this scoreboard.
That's
Wow.
why you look at our book, Josh. It's right here. And Landon Kern up to bat as we return to the top of the order. He is, I believe, the only left-handed batter for the Warriors.
Really, lefties can be a bit tricky to pitch against as they have a different zone. They have a different batting stance at times. They have different places they hit the ball, as that will be ball 1. They call ball 2.
Absolutely, as it was to the outside. Pitcher really just needs to focus on his mitt. Looking at the catcher. And fouls that back. Certainly glad I am not sitting in the trailer at this moment, as waiting to hear it thunk right off the top.
The boys back there must have some souvenirs.
I'm sure.
He had 2.
Inside.
Shimmy as someone went inside.
And that will bring up 3-1 for the pitch count.
And you have to think in the duration of this game and in the duration of many games, both starting pitchers get a lot of pitches in there, and they're really out of their element as the batter is walked.
Second time so far for Chevron in this game. First walk occurred last inning. But the Warriors were unable to convert, and now we have runners at first and second, Josh.
And in the top of the third, really not seeing a lot of the great pitching performances we have seen thus far.
And so Tyler
The
Ward
early earnings.
at bat.
Strike 1 as that worked the corner of the plate.
Ward returns to the box. Chevron looking very much aware of his runners here and able to get the corner that fouls it back. Again, straight toward our production trailer, but luckily we haven't heard anyone yell yet, so it's okay. Pitch count is 0-2.
And if there's one more foul back, you're going to start hearing them say, just hit the ball already. I mean, and he did.
Nice catch by the first baseman for the second out as it went foul. And that will bring up Austin Henthorn, the first baseman for the Warriors.
First baseman, Austin Henthorn.
Really great job isolating the lone base runner at second.
So Henthorn now really looking to move those runners around. Swing and a miss there.
As the pitching error was the walk to put runners on first and second. And time is called. And as I was saying, a very good job of Parkersburg High School holding their own in this inning, as they have worked it back to 2 outs. And time was called as the count was 0-1, and that is barely on the outside for 1-1.
Scheffrin again looking. And right now, were I Coach Burns, I would have him solely concentrate on the batter.
Two and one now the count, and swung on and missed, as that would have been a called ball. As the count evens out at 2-2.
And now Henthorn in a position where he absolutely has to protect the plate. Tried to work the corner, didn't make it. Way to the outside, brings up full count.
And with a ball to work with there, I really do not blame the pitcher for throwing it outside of the plate.
And again, another one. Third walk this game, second this inning. And suddenly we have runners on all 3 bases as the DH comes in, Gunnar Smith. And last time he had a short hop over to the short, was able to throw him out at first.
Now Gunnar Smith faced the first pitch, and that is a high called ball 1. And I see there are some people still laughing at my previous remark about the current batter. But that is ball 1. Gunnar will face it, and the ball gets away.
And it's going to create a score. Schaefer in. And so Warren now on the board on that catcher's error. Runners at second and third. And Smith now a little bit of room. He's got 2 balls, no strikes.
The tying run 90 feet away. Certainly no pressure here. And a high call ball 3. Certainly now you do not want to put runners on the corners.
No, but we're 1 pitch away from that, Josh, and it'll be interesting to see what Burns does.
Or rather, the bases loaded again. And they are loaded, and we will see what Coach Burns does.
Interesting position. Walk 2 batters back to back. Out of the 6, he's had 3 walks. And I would look for Burns to change out pitchers here.
And really, it is really disheartening for an entire bullpen to watch the starter go through this and to already be done after 2 2/3. But let's see what happens.
He's going to leave him.
And wow, quite remarkable, after he would still be eligible for the win if he went a couple more innings, and maybe that is the goal here.
Well, we'll see what happens as shortstop Ethan Estes comes up to bat. And a nice pitch.
And really, we haven't seen these pitchers working the middle of the plate. We've seen them flirting with the corners the entire contest.
And again, and he flirted quite nicely on that pitch, Josh. Pitch count now 0-2, and Estes is in a horrible position. He's either going to be a hero or the third out as he fouls that away to protect. But wow, this is a position as a hitter nobody wants to be in.
Now 0-2, as that was really a bread and butter type pitch. So it was the same pitch to get him to go to 0-2. That last one fouled off, and he works on the inside of Estes.
And didn't work to his advantage as the pitch count now moves to 1-2.
And really, you can never get too comfortable with an at-bat, as the batter is always a threat. And down is going to be dropped barely fair. 1 run comes in, 2 come in, and comes another one, and 3 come in. A slide and a 3 RBI triple.
And that was the kind of thing we were talking about before, that you can never count them out at any time. So with a triple with 3 RBIs,
Now batting number 4, Zach.
bringing in Kern, Henthorn, and Smith. And suddenly the Warren Warriors are 2 ahead of your Parkersburg Big Reds.
And they call ball 1, and it is quite remarkable that in this game, in this sport rather, the momentum can turn just like in any other sport, but with one swing of the bat, there it is.
And ball number 2. The great thing about
Called a
baseball.
strike, actually.
Did they call it a strike?
They did. Wow.
Son of a gun. I've been known to be wrong, but it doesn't happen very often, that's for sure. That's okay. That's a ball this time, and I am certain of that one, way to the outside. But baseball is such a great sport. It is a team sport, but it is also very much an individual sport, very much a mental sport, and it's that mental aspect of that sport that right here concerns me about Chevron. What's going on in his head? Too much pressure, not enough pressure. He's at 3-1 in his pitch count. He's walked 3 so far. 4 runs scored this inning, several errors, and let's see what happens now.
I admire Coach Burns' ability to keep his pitcher in. Honestly, I would have taken him out of the game after the first run was around. And now we have runners on the corners, as that is yet another walk.
4th walk this inning, Josh.
Wow, that is quite staggering. And really, if Coach Burns did not take Chevron out before, certainly he has to now, and the runner will go.
They tried to shoot him at 3rd, and they're going to say he was safe.
A close call. And now we have runners on 2nd and 3rd.
Nice steal by McKenna. Garrett Kennedy remains in the batter's box. He is the 9th batter this inning.
And really, you do not want
Outside.
to you don't want to lead off with the top part of the lineup, but I mean, I guess you have
And
to.
they didn't. They were at the bottom of their order, actually, Josh. When we started, they were at their final 2 batters. We are remaining in the end of the middle here, but looks like if this continues with a pitch count of 3-0, we've got 2 outs. I'm sorry, 2-1. We have 2 outs, and up and high.
That will be out of
And
play.
It is 2nd strike there. And I'm not the only one here in the press box who was confused by that last strike. We thought it was not the foul, but the previous pitch. We were all, yeah, it's 3-0. No, he called it a strike, and we have corrected ourselves. It is now 2-2 as we await this next pitch.
And wow, looked like a good pitch down the middle, but just a tad high, and we now a full count.
But again, we're not on the same level as he is, so it is difficult we can sit up here and say we think he's right or wrong all day, but until you have that mask on looking at it, and that is the 5th walk this inning as we bat around, Josh. And that will now bring Coach Burns to the mound as the top of
Just
the
let the
third inning
bleeding end,
continues.
please. I've got to get home. I've got to eat. This is just, we've been here for quite some time. 5 walks. Maybe
5 walks this inning. We are now back to the leadoff batter for this inning as Lance Schaefer is warming up. And now we have a substitute. Number 25, Drew Bland, is coming in for Chevron.
Seems like from these warm-up pitches that Bland is not to be mistaken for, as he seems like a very powerful pitcher. I'm still quite perplexed at why he did not come in earlier in the game, say around 3 walks. But
because they've got sectionals coming up. You still have to save your pitchers for the games that are coming up. Those games that are going to count, they have to have so many days rest in between games. They can only throw X number of pitches, I know, and they have to have so many days rest before they can pitch again. So you don't want to, with sectionals coming up, you're not going to want to use. You're going to want to try and balance where your pitchers are. And so that's going to adjust the order. And so we now are back to the first batter of this inning.
So Schaefer's last time up got a double. That will be sliced foul.
Yep.
Down the left field line.
And now after that, he's in a position here. Feel bad for both Schaefer and Drew Bland as he comes in to try and end this inning. Ball 1.
And really, Drew Bland's mentality is, oh my goodness, I've got to retire this batter. There have been only 2 2/3 innings in the books so far. I guess he didn't plan on being summoned this early in the game, but also he had to have time to warm up to get ready to go in the game. But now the count is at 1-2, and now it seems like Bland's control has been much better.
He hasn't had time to really get in his groove, and they're going to call that a foul.
Count remains at 1-2, and really, if you're Coach Burns, you've got to be also economical with your pitchers. The pitch count was also getting high on Chevron. Honestly, do not want that happening with Drew Bland. So he will now be pitching with a 1-2 advantage. Chopped to the shortstop, and that one gets away.
Error.
And now it is 5-2, 6-2. And Warren has just broken the floodgates open. And wow, just an inning ago, it was in Parkersburg's favor. And 7 runs just pile on. This
And-
is unreal. Unbelievable.
That's right. To quote my dear friend Stephen Doherty, this is unbelievable. And the Big Reds letting emotion get away from them. Schaefer steals second. And so now the Big Reds need to settle down and play their game. They've played great defense for 2 innings, and they need to recapture that, figure out what they need to do, and get it done.
And another dropped ball there. And now we're seeing this effect happen on more than just the pitcher, as now the catcher is getting involved, and the first baseman was not able to control the throw, and now we're just seeing this whole drama unfold.
And again,
Next
this
pitch
is
gets
simply
away
a
again.
mental error as Schaefer goes to 3, and he's not going to go any further.
That would have been interesting had he would have.
So far, this entire game has been this entire inning has been very interesting, Joshua. So let's see.
With the puns and all.
Well, Bland here, and in all seriousness, the Big Reds need to take a breath, step back, regain their focus. Bland has to settle down. Evans needs to settle down. The urgency to get this last out is obviously very palpable, but it is time to take a moment, get it back together, and Bland has to find his rhythm.
And I've seen him and I've talked to him, and he seems like a very cool, calm, and collected type person, and maybe that could rub off as he walks his first batter. And that is now the 6th of the inning, if I am correct.
Yes, but that is Bland's first.
Now batting for
Yes.
the Warriors, number 2 catcher, Landon Kern.
And now Kearns is going to come in with runners at first and third. Still 2 away.
And still the 3rd inning. And Kern's the only left-handed batter. Let's see how Bland does here. Trying to work the corners again. Didn't work very well right there. Watching his runners. And that remains fair. Goes to the fence. First RBI,
And
second
wow,
RBI. He's
we
coming
could see
around
him go
to
for an
third.
inside the. Oh my goodness!
And there
A false
he's
alarm there.
He's going to stay on third, but he has 2 RBIs as he brings in Schaefer and Freeman. And so they have scored 9 runs in this inning.
And I got a little excited. I did not quite see where the ball was. I mean, he certainly had the speed. Had the ball been further down the outfield to have.
And it stayed fair all the way out in right field. And Tyler Ward in the batter's box, ball high.
And so, I mean, also, this is a good opportunity for Warren's defense to kind of rest if the batters that are not on the on-deck circle to.
Short hop to third baseman brings the throw,
And
that should retire this inning.
And it does. Wow. Certainly a long and interesting inning.
So we had, Josh, 9 runs.
Keep it coming.
Very few hits. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. I can't even count how many errors. And at least 1. And 1 left on base. And Josh, I would like to introduce Ricky Hill, who has been getting up to speed on this game. I am going to, now that you are comfortable in your role here,
What are you talking about? I've always been comfortable.
I am going to back out off the air and let Ricky take over in my position And so, as I trade headsets here, you have a new partner.
And it has certainly been a good 3 innings, 11 combined runs, and many, many, many errors, and not a lot of hits. And you know, Ricky, it is a bad situation when there are not very many hits, but a lot of runs.
That is very true, Josh. That is probably one of the worst situations you could find yourself in contact with.
Oh, definitely. And I do believe, if I'm correct, that there is a 10-run rule.
I believe there is. I'm not entirely sure how the 10-run rule works, but when I played baseball, it was if you're leading by more than 10 runs by the second or third inning, I believe the game is over. Fourth inning, sorry. The game is over and the other team needs to forfeit.
As Warren has stretched their advantage to 7 runs, as just a couple innings ago it was 2-0. First pitch, a speedy one called a ball.
Look low to the right, outside.
It's going to be banged down the right field line, foul and out of play. 1-1 now the count, and we've seen both these pitchers really kind of actually all three, as there was a substitution last inning, kind of struggle with the ball placement and the signal.
Hit down middle to the right of second base.
And in the gap, he will attempt to go for 2, and he will. So now finally something maybe coming together for the Big Reds.
Now batting for the Big Reds, number 15, first baseman, Paul Fichtelman.
And
Now batting for the Big Reds, number 15, Paul Fichtelman. I think I might have to agree with you with your viewpoints on PHS's pitchers. Josh, I heard you saying that he probably should have been taking out Chevron.
And that is deep to center, back, and that is going to be corralled in, but a run does come in. It's an RBI double for Fichtelman.
And I think that might be a well-needed run for PHS.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, with it 9-3,
Big Reds, number 29,
Um,
third baseman, Will Salmons.
and now Salmon's coming in. Now Meeting coming in, and there's so much going on in this game right now that I can't even get a sentence in. But really, any run now really does matter, as you can take what you can get.
It's almost one of those games where you just have to take everything in stride and see how it goes, because you really can't expect and really can't predict where things are going to go in the game.
And early in the pregame, before you arrived, I talked about how Warren was the equivalent of a AA baseball team, and obviously PHS is a AAA baseball team, and really the odds were kind of against Warren coming into this, even though their record was technically better. Both records are below 500, and both teams really trying to get on track for sectionals.
But as you can tell, Josh, apparently the pressure has not gotten to Warren.
And that will be a chopper,
Race to the first base.
and I believe he's tagged out. And that will advance the runner to third, and it looked like a sacrifice grounder. But a very good effort.
Big Reds, number 33, Damon Ribeiro.
Now batting for the Big Reds, number 33, Damon Ribeiro.
Now with the next run 90 feet away, see what Ribeiro does, as PHS is now done, now down, rather, 6 runs, and that ball will be
Inside to the left.
tight for a strike 1. I mean, a bit of a finicky call, and Ribeiro whiffs on that next pitch. 0-2, and with only 1 away, there's still an out to give. But if PHS really needs a run, it's now, and it's every inning now. And that pitch gets away from the catcher, no advance to home.
You know, Josh, I think that maybe a run or two could help PHS calm down and get their head back in the game, and maybe their pitchers will start being more collective and calm, start throwing strikes now.
And it will have the opposite effect on the opposition. And now the next pitch of the at-bat will get away from the catcher, as it would have been a ball anyway. But now the count evens out at 2-2.
Looked low and outside to me, Josh.
And it most certainly was, and now we're starting to see the wear and tear of being out on the field a while. And that is high and a full count. We've seen a lot of these high pitches that really, if these pitchers just focused, and I believe Ribeiro got under it, and this might be a sacrifice fly, and it is. And another run comes in. A good couple of runs, as they might try to start a 2-out rally.
That'll lead to 9-4.
Now batting for the Big Reds, number 4, second baseman, Trey Jackson.
Now batting for the Big Reds, number 4, Trey Jackson. Strike right down the middle.
Now we're seeing Warren's pitching staff being very selective with these pitches, and
Ball's tipped. Foul.
foul back 0-2. And so now one strike away from the end of this bottom half of the inning.
Not necessarily, Josh.
And that is dropped, and it will be 1-2. Still one strike away from the end of the inning.
Well, you never know. Trey could pull through and maybe.
Well, I mean, in a perfect world for Warren, this would be the end, and it's a chopper to the pitcher, and that will retire the side. And it is now 9-4. PHS has 2 runs came in.
Hopefully we'll see a bit of better pitching from PHS now, as PHS comes to the field.
And really, Drew has had time to calm down, and I believe he will still be out there on the mound, and he is. And we're seeing a bit of darker skies here, and there's really a threat for rain. Really, for lack of a better word, a bummer for me. I mean, I've really not had a lot of time to get used to these games, and I mean, I've only called one other one, and really rain would be an ideal situation for the Warren Warriors, as PHS might be trying to get back into this game with a 2-run inning. But thus far, a really good evening for baseball.
That it has been. The weather's been nice. Weather so far has been permitting, though we do again see some darker clouds. But I personally don't think that we'll see too much rain. Maybe very, very light drizzle, but
Which, I mean, it would still, the game would still be going on. I mean,
right. Might make it a little more interesting, Josh.
it really would. I mean, with the way both teams, their players have really shown a hustle, that sort of skill to really run. I mean, getting the base path slippery would really be a bad situation. And on the radar, apparently, there is some rain that's going to be coming through.
Up to bat now for Warren, number 33, Austin Hinthorn. As the first pitch flies.
It's going to be a perfect strike down the middle.
Hopefully we can keep that up, Josh.
And really, Any pitcher that has been in this game should really, ooh, I was about to say, should really start going more for the middle. I mean, it also depends on the catcher's signals to the pitcher, but really not be afraid of getting a bit risky.
It sounds like we are going to see more down the middle pitches. In the first 3 innings, we did see lots of corner pitches, lots of outsides, lots of insides. That didn't seem, with the five walks that PHS had, didn't seem too much
Right
of.
down the middle, it will reach the shallow part of center field, and we have got a single for Warren.
Now batting number 36, Gunnar Smith.
And Gunnar Smith now coming in, as he will avoid having the double play turned in on him.
Another down the middle, looked to be a ball.
And it is for Gunnar Smith.
Foul ball.
Smith will rip that one foul.
Far to the left. Very, very far to the left. One of those foul balls that you might see damage to cars come from, Josh.
Oh, wow. Better get some insurance claim there. And that's very unfortunate for the owner of a nice shiny car. But now back to the game as that evens up the count with that foul ball at 1-1.
I'm sure you could buy baseball insurance, Josh.
Oh, baseball insurance, you don't say. I mean, they actually sell that, but let's see what Gunnar Smith will do with this ball. The pitcher is selling, and that is ripped. And Gunnar did gun that one at the fence, and there will be a stand-up double. And now runners at second and third, and Gunnar Smith has really shown that exemplary batting. And surprised that there was no run going in.
Now batting number 18, Ethan Estes.
Now up to bat number 18, Ethan Estes. We'll see if there are more pitches down the middle. Another down the middle. Strike.
And there is no pressure for Estes here as he tries to give really, as you said before, baseball insurance to this lead. I'm not quite sure if that's what you meant, but insurance to this lead, as it would be 10-4, maybe even 11-4 if Estes is able to deliver, as Gunnar Smith did before.
I think my baseball insurance comment had a bit of a double meaning, Josh.
Yes.
Counts now 1-1. We'll see a hit.
And a nice shot as the ump had to move out of the way, and the shortstop had to move out of the way, and it is 11-4.
2 runs come in for Warren.
A 2 RBI single, and now it seemed like they're back into that hole, and now McKenna is back up to bat.
I wouldn't say they were back in the hole. They did seem to maybe dig themselves a little bit out for at least a few hitters. Now it seems like they are back in. Ball 1. First tries to steal second, and he does.
And they They seem to have called the hitter out because of catcher interference, and one away in the inning. Excuse me for that last breakout there, but it's a bit of a weird instance transpiring. And the original base runner will move back to first.
And Josh, it seems like a strange game has another twist to it.
Oh yes, this is not your average 11-4 ball game.
There's some confusion on the field. Excuse me, he's just coming in. Coach was just coming in.
So we'll get back to baseball. First pitch is going to be a bullet into the dirt. 1-0, and you really hate to waste that type of power that your pitcher has with a fastball in the dirt. And that was great awareness by the pitcher. And really, that's that pitcher-catcher communication that has been highlighted throughout this game, whether it be good or bad. And another attempt at a pickoff.
An
and
error.
He will advance, and that will be counted as an error. And now the double play is out of order.
Seems like PHS just needs to gather themselves, though we thought they did for a minute. But it seems like they might have slumped back down.
So now the count is 1-0 after that stolen base.
Foul ball.
That is fouled back, and wow.
And go out.
Saw a guy pushing a rope down the street. I said, hey, no way you don't push it. He says, sorry, I messed it up. There's a guy pulling a rope. I said, what are you doing? He says, why are you pulling? He says, you're trying to push me.
Seems like we have some jokesters in the box.
We most certainly do. And this has turned into kind of a laugher itself. Cue drum sound, as it is now 11-4.
Next pitch comes in. Looks to be a ball, 3-1. And the jokes just keep on rolling in. Pitcher awareness.
At least if it rains, if it pours rain, this candy can swim.
Ball's lost by the catcher. See third base stolen. As the batters walked.
And there is time called out on the field. One away in the inning. And we're still in the fourth, and seems to be another long inning for excuse me, for Parkersburg High School.
It seems like there may be another pitcher change.
And as
Meeting
Mrs. Allman Wright said before, they've really got to rest up their pitchers and keep their bullpen nice and thick for the sectionals, as they only have a few days to get ready for that. And I mean, with a 4-16 record, I mean, you're not going to host any home games, so I mean, it won't get any easier for this Big Red club. So I mean, just one of those nights, just really an example of why you're 4-16.
Hopefully they may be able to pull together and try to rally themselves as a team for sectionals. But one can only hope. Hopefully they will do.
And now there is a pitching change, and Jake Gold, number 11, comes in. And that is now their third pitcher of the game, and you've got to really be concerned about the bullpen, as it has to be getting thin with it only being the fourth inning and only one away, only 3 1/3 being completed so far in the game.
Maybe PHS has another pitcher they'd like to take out.
This is Jake Gold going in. Number 11, Jake Gold.
As Gold warms up.
And really, it might sound silly, but I mean, these warm-up pitches are very key. Getting that relationship down with the person you're throwing to, and really with the struggles they've had, this is a big sequence.
But it also gives the other team a chance to view how the pitcher throws, view where he's throwing to more, but also it uses works in the advantage of the pitcher occasionally as an intimidation factor. If you're a big pitcher and can throw fast, why not show it off and scare the other team a little?
I mean, honestly, I mean, throwing it past Roy does not mean you're going to get out of his jam, and I mean, it might help. And really, it looked like a really nice sinker there. I mean, maybe that could work to their advantage. I mean, there's a lot in this arsenal of pitching.
And again, you're right, Josh. Speed isn't exactly all that matters. A good pitcher always has quite an arsenal in his selection.
Now Gold will now face Schaefer. And Schaefer is still in there. Still looking to be eligible for the win, even though he has allowed 4 runs. And time is called again. And, and it looks like there's lightning in the area. And we're on a 30-minute delay. Wow, this is this is very characteristic of this baseball season. As I have had games being canceled or rained out, and really this is a rough spot for a new pitcher. Just now coming in, warming up, getting ready, and you spend all that time warming up, and then all of a sudden it all goes to waste as you have to wait again.
Right. Then you have to warm up once again. And it's just too much of a hassle to even see as an advantage.
So, I mean, a bit of a summary. PHS took on the reins of the game.
Nice pun,
at
Josh.
At a 2-0 advantage, and really, that's all they've had. Is Warren has now outscored the opponent 11-2.
11-4, Josh.
They have outscored them 11-2 since being down 0-2.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Misunderstood you, Josh.
And so,
An interesting game just gets more interesting.
yes, it does. And in all seriousness, this is a very serious game, setting the tone for what's coming next for both ball clubs, whether it comes later on this year or if they make a first round exit in their respective sectionals games or whatever it may be. This is a very serious game with two teams that have really been hard on their luck. Down on their luck, rather.
That they have, Josh. But I'm sure Warren right now is thinking very high of themselves, probably on cloud 9 with their 11-4 lead over PHS.
And in the top of the 4th, this game is still undecided, but really unfortunate that it has to be like this. Many games, not weather permitting, as I mean, it also depends on the area you're playing in. I mean, this is again, just to remind you, this is the Bennett Stump Field in Parkersburg, West Virginia, alongside Ricky Hill. and previously alongside Lori Elman Wright, and I'm Josh Hughes. And,
You know, Josh, I never got the chance to say it's nice to be here.
I
Very
mean,
nice.
I mean it is, and
Temperature's nice.
earlier in the contest, I mean maybe when I was doing pregame, I said it was a great evening for baseball. I mean it still could be. I mean this game is not lost, certainly.
Now, Josh, if it does get rained out and they do end up canceling the game, will they judge the game by the current score, or will they wait until a later date?
I honestly don't think there can be a later date.
You're right, Josh.
And
Game
they are
has been
calling the
called.
game. It is game over, and this is really an adjective that has been used over and over. Unbelievable.
That it has, Josh. As we see lightning now to the right side of the field. Seemed like a lot of it lit up the sky for a good half a second. You know, that's never a good sign of these giant metal towers.
And really,
We're
that is
under a tornado watch for you that are listening until 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. Thank you very much. And this is Zane Owen.
Thank you, Zane.
and we apologize for that, but we are under a tornado watch, apparently until 1 in the morning, and I believe last night we were under a thunderstorm watch until 1 in the morning, so this is really
Just an odd
unfortunate.
situation. Sounds like we are
And
done.
yes, we are done, and it has been a pleasure to call this rather odd game
Rather short game, too,
with
Josh.
with its interruptions and its jokes. But in all seriousness, this is the end. And thank you for watching. And we'd like to thank Lori Elman Wright, Ricky Hill, our partner in education, CAS Cable, both schools and their athletic directors. And from the Bennett Stump Field in Parkersburg, West Virginia, the final score after 3 1/3 innings is Warren 11 and PHS 4. I'm Josh Hughes.
And I'm Ricky Hill. Thank you,
and
guys.
Saying good night.